Coach Joerger, good morning. How are you?
Superman, how are you guys?
I know you're a Superman, dude. Come on. We all know that. You kidding me?
Yeah.
We got
a long ways to go. We're disappointed about the other night, but we tried to approach it as a teachable moment for our young club and how we can get better out of that. And got another one tonight. That's the fun part of winning pro sports is you don't have to usually wait too long before you get an opportunity to play again.
You went right into it. See, I was going to ease in about 2-3 minutes before I even talked about the other night's game. I was going to talk about other fun stuff, but I'm glad you at least brought it up. You guys as a coaching staff have, I guess, the experience and discipline is the best way I can describe it, of understanding what it's like from the inside. Not to say you guys weren't pissed. I'm sure you were. I freaked out and, broke things at my house and did all the dumb stuff fans, I do. But what do you do at that point? Is there really any way to spin it other than it happened and it's a learning experience and you build on it? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think especially with a young club, that's exactly the way that you have to approach it and make people feel bad. People feel bad anyways, and those guys are competitors and, we didn't do the things we needed to do to get it done. And, what happens next time we're in that situation, or maybe we're the team that's on the other side of that? How do those kind of games go, and how do those kind of things happen? And here's why. And so we sit down and show it to them on the tape and some of the decisions we made, and basically a lack of focus and just kind of relaxed, and that's it. It can happen, and obviously it did.
Coach Dave Joerger joining us. Last thing on that, and forgive the sloppy phrasing, Coach, but my heart's in the right place. I'm not trying to place or remove blame, but as a coach, I was looking back through the play-by-play in the fourth, and I saw you called 4 timeouts. And you're subbing people in, subbing people out. Is it, for lack of a better term, is it like a helpless feeling for the coaching staff sometimes because ultimately the players have to play and you can't be out there on the floor? Is there a frustration there at some point?
Yeah, there's a level of experience. I mean, coached a lot of games and seen a lot of things, and it's you could see it coming, and that's why I subbed back in so quickly. We ran some of our guys deep into the third quarter because to put that thing up as far as possible is what I was trying to do. And I went back to them very quickly in the fourth quarter. And, it's you're just trying to give guys a chance to be successful and put them in those positions and do everything that I can do or things that I can control, and made them aware of it very early in the fourth quarter that this thing could get nasty. And, I don't do that very often, so I think that it's not lost upon them when you do say that stuff. I think, it's a young bunch of guys, and hopefully we'll get better from there.
Coach, and I know that this probably comes as a shock to you, but I'm not an NBA coach. But when a player like D'Angelo Russell starts going like that in the fourth quarter, what do you guys try to do on the fly to slow him down, even when he's making a ton of tough shots?
He did. He made a couple tough shots. There's no doubt. He took a couple quick ones. He took a couple, perhaps, what would be considered bad shots, but at that point when you're down 20, you go, what the heck, I'm a scorer, I get it going a little bit. But it was the part that was more difficult was how quickly he was scoring, being able to go end to end, especially after free throws and those kinds of things. So we got lacked aggressiveness offensively. I think in some of those situations we all think, gosh, you could just get a stop. Well, if you could just get to the foul line, you get a layup, or get to the rim a couple of times, you can get your defense set up a little bit easier. We settled for a lot of jumpers, and we turned the basketball over, and then your defense is on the run, and I think we fouled 4 times in the first 2 minutes. So then you get a little unaggressive and not wanting to foul a guy and put him at the foul line because they're going to put their head down and go to the rim, and those kinds of things sometimes happen, unfortunately.
Coach Dave Joerger with us, and Coach, we're fans of yours and have you back, and we mention you quite often in games and post games and et cetera. But I also do my best, as does Kyle, to it's not just Dave Joerger, and I know you're the first person to say this. You have guys like Brian Gates and ET and Jason March and that whole staff that are just so freaking awesome. And I had a chance yesterday. We had a little mini event out there with some of our station clients and sponsors out there at Golden One. And Coach Gates was running kind of like a video chalk talk in one of the lounges, and wasn't giving away state secrets or anything, Coach, but was running through. It spent about half an hour just showing off an Excel sheet and how much video you guys watch of before you play a team or from past matchups. And I think a lot of people, I've covered this game forever, Coach, and sometimes I just fall into this habit of thinking, okay, pass the ball, shoot the ball, and run around the floor. Have you gotten to the point over your career where you get tired of watching video, or are you still addicted to it? Because I can watch that all day, I feel like.
It's fun. I mean, it's what I love to do. It's a passion of all of ours. And, our job is to leave no stone unturned and to give the players as much information as possible without paralyzing them with information, because that can happen too. There's a saturation point where guys are just full, like you're saying, like, man, sometimes it just gets so, like, for example, earlier in the year, we'll watch a lot of team video through the preseason in the first 10, 12 games. And then I back it up a little bit, and then it's a lot more individual video. And then depending on how the flow of the season is going, then you got to reel it back in a little bit. These are the things we need to do as a team, because those things need to be heard by a head coach or from a head coach. Hey, this is, we're holding guys accountable to this. This is our scheme here. This is what we're trying to do. So, we do a lot of, and especially with a young team, we're always thinking development mode. Where can we be in 2 years? How do we help grow these guys the best way possible to give them experience as quickly as possible? And it certainly has been a terrific season. And, we've shocked a lot of people, and it's fun, but we know we have a long ways to go. So we always keep that long view in mind.
So when you look at a guy like Marvin Bagley, for example, who's not only just turned 20, I think, but also played 1 year at Duke and left high school early. I mean, he's basically a one-and-done guy, high school guy, and played a zone defense at Duke for his 1 year career. When you look at some of the strides he's made on defense, I think watching that video kind of turned me onto it a little bit too, Coach. These guys haven't even scratched the surface. I mean, at least half of them haven't even scratched the surface of their potential yet, it seems.
Yeah, the best is yet to come. That's what we're very excited about. And the other night, obviously, we get frustrated, or some of the close games that we've lost, we're frustrated. But those are opportunities to teach that, we just blew 8 layups tonight. Like, we've got to finish better around the basket as we get stronger in looking for contact and maybe draw fouls more often and not shy away from contact, or the turnovers that happen throughout the course of the game. And so a lot of the close games that we've been in have not been tit for tat coming down the stretch. It's us trying to catch them, and we finally catch them with 2.5 minutes to go. And, at that point, then there's very small margin for error, a missed shot, or a turnover at that point. Whereas you're up 1, down 1, and it's going back and forth. And those are the kinds of things we'll get better at as we go on.
Silly sports radio question here, Coach, but last thing, and then I want to get to your event. More difficult from a coaching point of view, more difficult to come back from 10 down, more difficult to maintain a 10-point lead?
Depending on what kind of team you have. If you have an older team and you have, several go-to guys, then you just squash it. You're up 10, and, that's a wrap. Other way to look at it is, how good are you defensively? Then you'd rather obviously be up 10, because if you're a really good defensive team, being up 10 can feel like for the other team that you're up 20.
Sure.
And so I think it's with a younger team, perhaps it's the other way. Hey, let's put our hair on fire and just attack these guys. We're down 10, but the way how fast we play, that's really like only down 4 or 5, and we've done that all season long. And so that's an evolution as your team grows up and gets more experience, gets stronger as you develop go-to players. And I think we're going to have developed some of those guys from within. And then you don't know how free agency goes and trades in the off season as well.
Coach Dave Joerger, we've talked about this being so active in the community. In fact, we talked a couple weeks ago, and I saw the pictures and videos when you were bartending for your foundation down at Urban Roots, and that was a phenomenal event. Now today,
I was just pouring beer. I can't sling some drinks. I can tip the handle and pour some beer.
Okay, so exactly. So you're pouring the tap for everybody down there, and then tomorrow, want to let everybody know there's a tasting of King Cutter. You got a little bit of food and a silent auction, all raising funds for the Dave Joerger Foundation, and we'll give out the address here after we let. Well, I can do that right now. Actually, 1322 V Street. In Sacramento, Urban Roots once again, and that starts at 7 p.m. King Cutter. How did you come up with the name King Cutter? I know the King part. What's the Cutter part?
I've gotten into cutting horses and cutting cows, and my girls are into riding horse, and I wanted just to get better at that so I could hang out with them and be around what they like to do. And it ended up getting into cutting horses, which is an interesting sport and pretty exciting. It's a little bit like riding a roller coaster where you can't see the turns coming. I mean, there's 2 animals involved and just a Yahoo like me sitting up there. So trying to hang on, and that's kind of where that came from.
Okay, I got to ask you, and I know we've talked about tractors and stuff before, and I'm not really a farm guy, but Coach, when you say what is cutting horses like?
So you're going to be on your horse, and you're going to go into a herd of cows, and you're going to cut a couple out, and they're going to try to get back to the herd, and the dance begins. You get one cow in front of you, and it's you can't let it get back to the herd, and it's fun, man. It's really fun.
Okay,
very athletic horses. Very athletic, a lot like defense, playing defense athletically, basketball wise, sliding back and forth, and the horse does all the work. You just try not to get in his way.
I'm really glad I asked, because that is completely different. I thought like cutting horses was like branding them or something, like you're doing something cutting,
like physically cutting
a horse for
right.
a sport or something. That did not sound fun to me. What you said, that actually sounds very fun.
It's exciting. It's really cool.
All right, Coach, you're the man. You know that, and if you don't, we'll remind you. And I know you got those guys ready to come out of the gates, hopefully, as you said, with their hair on fire tonight versus Dallas. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Luka and Marvin and De'Aaron, and maybe, I don't know, are you going to save it for that? You going to grab the PA mic like Doc tonight with Dirk, or are you going to leave that to be a surprise?
No, I won't be doing that. But what he said, that's terrific, and certainly love to see everybody. If anybody wants to come out, and you got the event that you can direct your listeners to buy tickets, and it should be a fun night tomorrow night, and also all day tomorrow. We have 1,000 kids coming out for Egg Day, so we're teaching our kids, give them opportunity to see where our food comes from, and it's a good time of year to start doing this stuff. It's really fun.
You can check the link right at the top of his Twitter account, and while you're at it, go follow the coach at Coach Joerger. That's JOERGER. Tomorrow, Urban Roots, a little tasting at King Cutter, some bites, silent auction, raising funds for the phenomenal Dave Joerger Foundation, always doing fantastic stuff, and we'll make sure to retweet that from all our accounts out there as well. Tickets available right there. There's a link on the Twitter account. Coach, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, you take care. It's Coach Dave Joerger.
You're listening to The Drive.